Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the...
Good morning, everyone. You are here at the Hour of Impact with Neri Bellamy, your impact leader. I have my special guest with me here today, Miss Danya Gale. Hi, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Good morning, Grand Rising. Hello, hello.
So now, Miss Barbara, I have to admit, I feel a little cheated this morning. Miss Barbara normally comes on and gives like this big empowerment piece, and she reads her quote, and that's my dose of good for today. So hopefully she'll bring that back on at the end. That's my little moment of impact, right? So how are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm sure you'll recreate it, Aneri. This is what you do.
So actually, everyone. Danya and I were on an interview yesterday for an upcoming summit, an eye to eye summit, and I gave her a quick impromptu. She had no idea about this show today. This was not pre-scheduled. I just actually nudged her last night. It was just in my spirit to nudge her, and I was like, "Hey, can you come on the show?" So, and Danya, the reason why I wanted you to come on the show today is because yesterday in the interview we were talking about money, right? We were talking about income, and what I've been doing is I've been impacting businesses from the inside out, right? So instead of jumping right into the tips and the how-tos and everything, I wanted to take them from the root and get them ready, right, for the overflow that they were going to receive from what they learned. Because I remember when I first hit my success, or what they consider success in business, I wasn't ready. Right? My self-esteem wasn't ready. I wasn't emotionally ready. I wasn't mentally ready. And I got that little bit of coin in my pocket and I thought I was something, right? My maturity wasn't ready. And so it cost me the success of that moment, right? Because I was not ready for what that looked like. I wasn't ready to manifest that and let it truly unfold. So it was a couple of things you said yesterday, and I was like, well, we're at that point, right? Of income and talking about income and what that looks like and how you manifest it in more ways than just sitting down at a computer and doing the work, and how to be prepared for it, and what to do once you get it, right? How not to let it run through your fingers like water. So I was like, yes, I need to have her come on while we're already in this space and this atmosphere. And let's talk about money today and what they're going to do with this money that they're going to manifest, and with this, money that's getting ready to come into their lives and their success levels. But before we get into all that, tell everyone about you and who you are.
Thank you, thank you. Well, that's an impromptu yet so aligned topic. And we had a fantastic conversation on the IDI yesterday. So thank you again for having me. This is top of mind for me because people ask all the time, like, how are you successful? How do you do this? How do you get to live in three different states in three different places? And I say three different places because it's actually four now. And I was coming from, at one point in my life, based on mindset and circumstances, being challenged to hold even one. And one of the things I would like to talk about before we get started is leverage. And I'll get to that. So, yes, hello, everyone. I am Danya Gale, and I am a solutionist. I'm a transformation professional, and I am here really to share out of the box unique tools, strategies, insight, and energy alignment. This is what my business is. This is what my business does. We work with corporations, individuals, brands to help them understand exactly what Aneri was talking about, the root level of success. It goes far beyond money. So I talk with people and helping them align their businesses, align their mindset to stay ready so they don't have to get ready, to stay in that readiness factor, already receiving the money, already receiving the abundance, already knowing we have it. Therefore, when you get it, you know how to navigate those changes and transitions. People think just when you get money, it's like, oh, everything's solved, everything's great. Oh, no, money is not a solution. Money is a tool to solutions. So that's part of my work. I have a background in entertainment management. I've had the pleasure and honor to live and work with amazing people in Beverly Hills, California. I'm originally from Colorado. I have a tremendous journey through working at a job, moving to entrepreneurship, growing, talking, teaching, and being able to experience love and luxury and success on a dynamic level, and learning more about money. I actually used to work with Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, some other companies, and I was managing everyone else's money, right? watching that money, watching the stocks, looking at portfolios and all of that. And one day it just hit me like, you need this money. You need to learn how to earn this money. And it is a journey to do so, yet it is so fulfilling and so rewarding. So, yeah,
I absolutely love it.
I'm
I
Donnie from
do.
here to there.
I love it. I remember for me, money has never been a motivator, right? So I would, as far as make more, make more. I made $5, now I want to make 10. I made 10, I want to make 20. I want to, And so I remember in chasing the idea of what was going to make me money, right? I used to
Mm-hmm.
try things like direct sales and network marketing, and those things never worked for me,
Mm-hmm.
not because I couldn't build relationships, not because I couldn't make connections, but I just could not get in a mindset of chasing that dollar, right? So those incentives, like, hey, if you sell 8 by midnight, you get an extra $100. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
I
I'm
know
good.
exactly what you're saying.
I'm good. I got my 250 coming that I already earned. I'm not doing all that to chase that 100. So, um, but at the same time, I had to learn or realize, okay, why am I chasing money in the first place, right? Like, why do I keep
Mm-hmm.
trying all of these things, trying to find that one thing that's going to make me money? And what it was I had to realize, and I think, and where I'm going with this is us helping everybody else realize what their relationship with money is and the root of that relationship. Because for me, I discovered that money wasn't my vices in making it. My vice was what it allowed me to do, what it allowed me to do for my children, the stability of living that it allowed me to have. So I was chasing money for the satisfaction of being able to do for my children, for the satisfaction of knowing my house payment was paid, knowing my light bill was paid. You know what I mean? But then I also realized that it was stumping me to a certain degree of going to the next level, because that was a simple comfort for me. Once that was accomplished, I was good. So if I made, you know what I mean, if I made enough money and them bills got paid the first 2 weeks of the month, it was a struggle to show up the last 2 weeks, because it's like mission accomplished. We are eating, we have a place to stay, we have lights, I
Right.
covered I covered something that they wanted. I got the kids something they wanted this month. I'm good. So I had to really sit back and look at my relationship with money and how I looked at it, right? To keep myself motivated and moving. So let's talk about that for a minute. How can we help people that's listening on today tap into their relationship with money and what that truly looks like and what their motivation behind making it really is before they walk into that certain level of success that they're looking for? Can you hear me?
Ooh, I lost sound.
Um, okay, so what we're going to have Danya do is we're going to have you log out and log back in and see if we can get you sound. Okay. No?
Still no sound.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep talking about money until she gets logged out, and we're going to see about her logging back in. But to go a little deeper on the story I was telling you about me and my situation with money is when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of it, right? So I learned to survive off of a little. And a lot of times when that happens and you just learn to survive off of not just a little but very little, you get in a mindset of just enough, right? It's like, okay, as long as this happens, or as long as I have this, I'm okay. As long as I get this accomplished, I'm okay. So that's where I was with money. And I remember I met a mentor, and my mentor, he was really trying to get me to have a different outlook about money, what it could do, about how much money I could make, about undercharging for my services and what I had to offer. And the reason why I was doing all those things is because I had a low number in mind, right? It was like, if I just make X amount of dollars, it'll do everything that I need to do. And then I'm okay, right? My family's okay. I don't need more than that. And it wasn't until I crossed over that line of an income that allowed me to do more things for my family that I realized that it's actually okay, right? To make more than just enough. It's just the humility that you keep when you do that, right? It's the mindset that you have as you're doing it that makes all the difference in the world. And it actually determines what you manifest and what you don't. So, my first time around in accomplishing, again, what we were talking about as success, I I did not treat it the way it should be treated, right? I didn't embrace it the way I should have. I actually got a little, I guess you would say, a big head about it, right? It was like, oh, I've made it, you know, I've made it to a different place than other people. I kind of became, you can't touch me, you can't tell me anything, kind of flashy. And it was totally out of character for me. So I want to say that to say we also have to be careful when it comes to money, because money does change people, right? Sometimes people say people change because of money, but money does change people. It changes how they move. It changes who they associate with. It changes everything about the way they live, how they live. The catch is, for you on today, the question is, what kind of change will it present in you? And how can that change be a good change? So, what we want to do is we want to talk about what the good change looks like. Okay. So, one thing's for sure, when you actually start making money, when you tap into the concept of success and leveling up and more income, one change you have to make is how you distribute that money. I think I've told you guys this example before, but as far as mindset, but let's talk about it as far as money's concerned as well. I remember a show, Steve Harvey, and he was telling his journey into making money and becoming a better person and everything. And he was talking about how all the people back home would call him and how they were expecting him to use his money to help them find their way out, use his money to help them over the edge. And and I remember he made a statement and he was like, they're on their own. They got to do like I did. They have to figure it out. And I thought, oh my goodness, how could he say that, right? So my first round with money, making more money, I did not have that same concept. Now, giving is great. Don't get me wrong. You should always give. You should always have a cause. You should always have a motive in mind for helping other people. But what was happening is I was giving most of it away, right? So when I started making an extra $1,000, I was lending out 5 or 6, or and I was justifying it in my mind by saying, when I didn't have money, someone helped me, right? But the reality is, the way you pay it forward doesn't always have to look exactly like the blessings you received. So when you get ready to cross over this threshold and you start making more income in your business for you and your family, just know that it's okay to say no, right? It's okay to say no. It's okay to not just hand out the money that's being asked of you. A good alternative to that is give them advice and tips on how to do like you did, right? How to level themselves up, how to take themselves to the next level. Because what I did learn is just giving them money is only a short-term fix, right? We think that we're solving the problem, but that's not it at all. It is simply a short-term fix that only creates a crutch. I have apologetically crippled so many people in my path. And what I mean by that is I was over helpful, right? Instead of helping them become independent, I helped them become codependent because I was always catching them when they were getting ready to fall, right? Not only would I catch them, but I would hold them up. I got you, I got you, I got you. I would hold them up so much so that they forgot they had legs of their own, right? So as you transition into these levels of success and income and money, and maybe you've already crossed that threshold and you're wondering why you're feeling drained, or you're wondering why you can't see a difference. It's like, hey, I'm making all this money, but I don't see a difference in my life. I don't see a difference in my business. Look at where you are repurposing that money. Look at how much of that money is being used on other people, right? On other things. The other thing I want you to think about, and the other rule with leveling up your income and your money, is you always, always, always invest in yourself. But make sure it's always something tangible that you can see. Set a goal of something you personally want that's tangible and that you can see. And what I mean by that is each month I set my monthly goals, my revenue goals, etc., etc. But I also set a goal on something I can do or I want to do for myself, a goal of something that I want to do for my family. But I always make sure it's something that's either going to create a wonderful memory or something tangible I can look at and say, look what I accomplished, right? My hard work and my success allowed me to accomplish this or that. And it's something maybe that's sitting on a shelf, or it may be, hey, I want a certain computer to work on, or hey, I want a certain printer that's more expensive than the average, or there's a really nice purse I may want to buy myself. Whatever the case may be, make sure that it's something tangible that you can look at. Now, why is that important? It's important because in this race for success, right, which is really what it is, because once you get aligned, things just move so fast, one thing after the other after the other. There's going to be those days when you don't want to show up. There's going to be those days when you're frustrated, when you're drained, and you just don't have it in you, right? Or there's going to be those days when things just didn't go according to plan. But when you have these tangible things that you have purchased for yourself, memories that you have created that you can grab hold to and say, fighting back, pushing forward allows me to reap these benefits, allows me to accomplish these things, then it helps you continue to show up and it helps you to push through. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, right? And I know that society tells you in your business, find joy in showing up for other people, right? Make sure you're doing something that you would do for free, etc., etc. And as much as that is true, as much as you have to have passion for what you do, as much as you have to have an enjoyment and fulfillment in what you do, the reality is there are days when you just are not going to feel like it. There are days when it's going to get hard and you need something else tangible to look at that drives you to focus and be able to get up and be able to do it over and over again. Because the reality is, let's look at doctors and nurses, okay? I've been in doctors' offices and hospitals and things where some of the patients was absolutely horrendous to their nurses and their doctors, right? Now they're just there trying to help, fulfill their passion, work their passion, do what it is they love to do. And they've got these people being absolutely horrible to them. So the question is, what still motivates them to show up? It can't just be caring for patients because, right, you've got that mix of those that's just absolutely horrible to them. So what is it? 9 times out of 10, and I asked a nurse this one day, I said, well, when people drain you, right? When the way people treat you, and when showing up, especially like just imagine the last couple of years they've had, when it drains you, what is it that you do to motivate yourself? What keeps you pushing forward to do what needs to be done? Is it the money? Is it the amount of money that you make in your business? And the nurse told me, she said, absolutely not. She said, but the things that the money allows me to do for my family allows me to tolerate it when those patients are mean and unruly, allows me to tolerate it when I get into things with other nurses and things like that. So make sure that you have set yourself a personal goal of something tangible you want to accomplish as you're on this journey. So it always gives you something to work towards. It always gives you a reason to show up, even when you don't want to show up for some other people. Sometimes, again, some days you just don't feel like it. I don't care how much you're in love with what you do. Some days you just don't feel like it. Then you have a reason to show up for yourself. And it is okay. It is 100% okay to show up for yourself. It's 100% okay to have a certain level of selfishness, because what that does is that protects you. That protects you from being used, that protects you from being hurt and abused. It gives you a certain level of protection, and it gives you the power to say a very, very important word that a lot of people struggle with, and that is the word no. It's okay to say no, right? It's okay for someone to be in a situation and you help them in a different way than what they asked for, because it's just human nature. When you're in a bind, and when you're in a bad situation and you're in an emergency, you want the quickest answer to get you out of that emergency, right? And 9 times out of 10, if it's to pay a bill, the quickest answer is what? To ask for money to pay the bill. Quick answer, simple, easy, but it's really only a Band-Aid, because 30 days later, guess what? That same bill is going to be due. And 30 days later, they're going to come back to you for that exact same Band-Aid. So as you're walking into this new success level, as you're leveling yourself up, as you're making more income, keep in mind that it is okay to help people level themselves up, but that doesn't always mean having an open hand where you're giving them money all the time. You're making $1,000 and you're giving away 600, right? That's not what that looks like. So we have to be careful at the root of making more income, that we set a solid foundation for ourselves, so we know what we're going to do and what we're not going to do with it, so that we can continue to level up, and so that we're not stuck with people on us like chains with bricks at the bottom. And as we're trying to climb, right, and we're struggling to climb, it's because we're being weighted down by those things that we took on that we just didn't have to take on, right?
So
Everybody has to walk their own journey and their own path. It's just a reality. And you can only help them with that so much, because you have your own journey and your own path to run. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you do find the philanthropy that you're supposed to be doing, it is going to be aligned with what you're already doing. It is not going to pull you in 110 different directions, right? It's going to show up on the journey that you're already on. It's going to be easy to do. It's going to be like second nature. And the reality is, it's going to help 1,000 more people than you would be able to help pulling yourself in 110 different directions. Danya has made it back with us. Yay, she's back. Super excited. But what we're going to do is we're going to allow her to gather herself, because it is time for a commercial break. And then after that commercial break, I still want her to answer that question that we was trying to dig into before. And the fact that we had all those tech issues means somebody out there really needs to hear the answer to that question right after this commercial break.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
I'm hanging on your every word, the love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound, 'cause when you do, my feet won't touch the ground.
All right, we are back. The Hour of Impact with Nary Bellamy, your impact leader, and Danya Gale, your solutionist. Thank you so much for being with us today. Just a quick recap, we're talking about income. We're talking about revenue. We're talking about money. We're talking about what to do and what not to do with that money that you're getting ready to walk into as you learn all of these things from all of the wonderful experts that are on the Diamond Factor Experience show. And the question I had for Danya before we had to take a commercial break is I wanted you to talk to everyone about that foundation, right, of money and how they can come to a reality about their relationship with money and what that truly looks like for them so that they know what to do in the process of making it.
Fantastic. So thank you so much. I'm glad to be here today. You know, this is such a multifaceted question. And you know me, Aneri, I'm going to give something out of the box. And I'm going to touch on it different levels because there are so many people who may be watching who are at different phases of their income journey. Okay. And it's all right. Wherever you are, you can start right where you're at right now. I'd like to also speak about something you just said about how you were giving the money away and how you had to think of yourself. Huge, huge factor. I'd like to bring that point in first. One of the first things that I did when I started earning more money, whether it was a raise, when I started working for myself and the 5-figure checks started coming in, I was like, the 6-figure check. Okay, this is nice, right? This is great because I'd had such a journey of earning the same amount of money, 30 grand, 40 grand, 60 grand on the same level with this much raise working in corporate, right? And sometimes the raises were significant depending on if I jumped role or positions, yet corporate had a very consistent phase of income versus when you jump into entrepreneurship, being a business owner, it shifts and changes a lot. It could be a roller coaster or a big explosion like you mentioned. So that explosion that happened with you happened with me, and I have 2 amazing, beautiful, genius children, and it was a moment where I was doing the same thing. I am not going to call it a mistake. All the things I was doing was out of love. And the
Right.
people I was giving back to was because I felt the same way you did. Like,
Right.
wow, I know what that feels like. So I changed to one mantra, and this mantra has shifted my life. You can call it a mantra, you can call it an affirmation. And I moved into this, and it's a big deal, especially for women, okay? For the good of myself, for the good of my family, for the good of my teams, and for the highest good of all. I said that repeatedly because what I saw is me giving more of myself, and I had not set a foundation for that income to grow, to leverage, and build upon itself. Because when I am not good, nor is my family. Yet, the opposite. When I am well, when I have a foundation, when I have the income, I am the decision maker, I am the money manager, I am the conduit for money, the tool of energy to flow through. When I am well, therefore everyone else is. And I had to get to that good of myself, good of my family, good of my teams, and for the highest good of all. And when I put that energy out there, oh, the flow, the change, the information that came to me to help me leverage my money. Now I'm going to jump back to the phases that I spoke about just a moment ago. Some of you may have no income at all. Let's just be real about that. Perhaps you lost your job. Maybe you did make the mistakes of giving too much money away. Maybe you're in a transitional period. It is okay. You are well. Say to yourself, I am well, I am wealthy, I am healthy. Say these things and put it out into the universe. You must know this. If you're waking up in the morning and you're looking at your bank account and that's how you're making your decisions in the day, no bueno, especially if you're challenged financially. No good. Okay. So if you're there and you're not having money, you, as long as you are breathing, you are a conduit of energy. Money is a tool and you can attract that money. And there you said something earlier. You said, what do you do when you need a light bill, when you need the rent? What is the first thing that you do? You call someone, you ask to borrow it, maybe you try to go to a bank, you try to get it from an outside source. Well, that is not my story. I did not have an outside source to go to. Of course, I worked with very wealthy um, businessmen and women and all of that, and I worked with and for them. Could have asked them, couldn't do it, could not do it. You know why? Because they gave me the tools. I sat in front of them. I got to watch and see and know how they live their life, how they manage their money. And it was my responsibility to take that knowledge and that education in, right? And a lot of them started from square zero as well, in garages with no money. So I took those stories, applied them to myself. My mom, my family was not in a position to give me money. So one day this happened and I thought about it. I said, I am not asking anyone. I know that I have the ability to manifest exactly what I need from within. I know it. I am not going to ask. I am breathing. I am smart. I am going to do this. And I'm telling you, I was in a place of literally being in transition, moving from one state to another, not having a place to live, not qualifying for a place to live as of yet. Okay, my income had shifted and changed. This is a tremendous story along my journey. I won't go deep into it, but the point is, I did not have the dollars to manifest a place for us to live in this new state based on some other circumstances that shifted and changed. So I'll leave it there. I sat down one day, and we call it the manifestation table. It's still at my home in Beverly Hills. I left it there. And I sat down and said, I'm going to do this. I was sitting in the car one day, drove in a neighborhood, and I said, I can do this. And so what I did is I wrote an agreement down. I wrote a contract out for exactly the amount of money I needed and a little bit more. I said, I am going to manifest this within 7 days, and if not, I'm going back home to my home state. I sat there. I did not know anyone in this state that I was in. I did not know what to do or how to do it, but I knew if I was breathing, I could create it. True story. True story. And I did. Within 7 days, I wrote that agreement. Someone referred a client to me. Danielle Enterprises had been created years ago on paper, but I've been working with corporate. I hadn't built it out. I hadn't really created it. Yet I knew it was a multifaceted business to ignite intentional action in other people. It was sitting there. I turned Danielle Enterprises back on. I wrote this agreement, had no clients at the time. None. Sounds funny, but it's so true. None. And I wrote this agreement. One of my friends that I had worked with like 10 years ago referred me to someone who was moving to LA in entertainment. They needed everything that I had. They had already the trust factor. We had the connection. We had the meetings aligned. And that 5-figure check was in my pocket within 7 days. So if you are at a point where you have nothing, manifest this, write it out. This is not just foo-foo stuff, this is real. If you're someone who's on unemployment right now, leverage your unemployment check. Every single dollar should not be going to just food and rent. I get it, I know it, I understand it. How are you going to pay the light bill? How are you going to pay the phone bill? How are you going to pay the rent? How are you going to pay the mortgage with this one unemployment check? You can learn to leverage it. It's actually something I do in my work, learning to leverage the unemployment checks that you can pour back into your business, back into lessons, educations. Get yourself in positions, okay? Simple glass of wine or a glass of tea somewhere in the right restaurant at the right time or the right place at the right coffee shop can introduce you to someone who could be the person and the conduit for your next elevation. This has happened to me. At one point in time, I did not even have enough money to go to these fine restaurants. And I'll be frank, one point in time, I was really challenged in getting coffee and breakfast because I had to make sure my kids had that first. This was a very short amount of time in my life. And I preface this that I didn't grow up this way. I grew up in a wonderful two-parent home. I had a wonderful life. But there's a segment of my life where my mindset needed to shift. So I'm saying to you, position yourself, take that money, pour into yourself first, whether it's $20, $50, pour into a class, start something on marketing, get constant contact for I don't know how much it is a month, but it's something small. Get an email list, pour something of some part of that money into your business and leverage that unemployment check. Okay, if it's just completely going out the door before you even get it, that will not ever, ever, ever work. It's likely that you're going to struggle the next month anyway on that same unemployment check. I actually do believe in unemployment checks because I actually learned how to leverage them. I do not believe in staying in that system unwillingly and on a consistent cyclical basis. I do not believe in that. You should be using this tool, as is money, and this opportunity to grow and leverage your business, leverage your life, leverage your family. Even the simplest of things, even ice cream on an unemployment check is an experience for your kids. Even the simplest thing like a glass of wine, or maybe your favorite drink, or maybe it's a favorite pillow. The simplest things, as Aneri was saying, that one thing that reminds you you've got something for you, that tangible, and that experience helps you leverage it. Now, if you're already making money and you're already on this wave where you're going to earn money, the foundational piece of it is understanding where that money goes, right? Where's this money going? Instead of giving, 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 sharing, 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 doing all these extra things, where does that money go? And of course, there's a percentage of your money that you should reinvest. You can study, there's all kind of YouTube things that talk about how much money you can specifically invest back in you. But the point is, pay yourself first. Always pay yourself first, and that money should be set aside. Then you invest in your business, whether it's marketing or anything like that. You already know this game, but there is an intangible piece of this where you can learn all the steps and tips and tricks and strategies. You can find out, you can get a financial advisor, you can learn online, you can have a savings account, you can get an IUL, a living life insurance where you can be your own bank. You can do all of these different things. You can take that money that you have and start building it up. These are things that I suggest. These are things that I talk, share, teach about. I'm actually licensed in life insurance as well, and I have a background in financial services. And I did this because I needed to learn how money worked, right? I have some partners who I work with who know this so well, and they're on my team. They teach you whether you're at 0, a million, 200 million, wherever you are, they teach you where to pocket this money, and it's all a strategy. My role and my goal as a solution is to get you to align your energy with this, align your thinking with how you're spending, understanding that you are your own greatest investment, understanding to create that foundation. It's your environment even. We forget about our environment, where we are, where we live, how we live, who we're around, the energy that we are around, the energy we create in our home that continues to attract money. That gives us the safety and peace and how we deliver it. So there's so many things that you can do intangibly, starting with mind, body, soul, and spirit, then moving to the tips, tricks, strategies, becoming your own bank, putting the money in the bank, putting the money in a safe, having multi-faceted ways to leverage the income that you have. Those are the pieces and foundations that you actually have to remember, look into, research, and educate yourself to do as you grow and blossom, because that money will find its correct place to go when you actually have a strategy and your intent is to have a foundation that is building a living legacy and far beyond you and your children's 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 children. That's where I would start with the foundation of mindset and aligning your energy.
I absolutely love it, and I can Yes, been there. When I started my first journey in being a business owner, stay at home mom, no, there wasn't the extra income for the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 website. You know what I mean? The email list and all the little programs and things that you're supposed to buy. And my background is elementary education, and it was like, well, what is it that I do well that I can sell to other people? And I've heard you say that before, and some of the things you do. And it was writing. Love to write, have children's books, won awards in school. And then I discovered that businesses paid people to put words together for blogs and things. And so I just picked up the phone and sold myself, right? Look, I was very transparent. I have no experience in being a business owner, right? I have no experience in working with businesses, but I have a lot of experience with writing. Give me a chance, let me show you, right? So we have to get in business, and in making revenue. You have to get out of the mindset that you have to have it to make it.
Very true.
Right? So it is true. You have to spend money in your business to make money at some point, but that should be to level up, right? We get into the mentality of spending out all of this money, going in the hole for 10 grand, 15 grand, looking for the answer, having this beautiful website that's not converting, making the business look awesome. And you're in the red because you're not making a dime on the other end, right? It's like, start simple, right? And level up when it's time. Stop investing in all of these things that you don't need just because you watched a video and they told you needed it, right? Or just because, you did a free webinar and they told you needed it. That's just not how you take that income to the next level. And that's what our impact is all about. I know during a commercial break, I actually got an inbox and it was like, did you just tell people not to help people? And I'm like, no, it's not what I said at all. I said, be mindful about how much you do. Everything can be done in balance, right? So I'm not, and it's reciprocal. You have to give to receive. You have to give to receive, but you have to look at it this way. Do I give one person $200 for their light bill and they're asking for money for their light bill every month, right? Or do I help them figure out how to not have to ask for that $200 the next month? Take that same $200, go to the grocery store and buy, I don't know, so many cans of canned goods and take it to the nearest shelter and help hundreds of people using that money, but help this other person in a different way where they're not in that same cycle. So what I was saying for other people that may have had that same question is basically the reality is, how do you maximize how many people you help, and being mindful about how you do it and making sure that it's not keeping somebody in a rotation that they're stuck in, recognizing, hey, last month she asked or he asked this person. This month it's me. Next month it's, you know what I mean? Because at some point you have to know the difference between helping and enabling.
Oh, so true.
And you have to draw the line between the two, right? And then you also have to accept the reality that as you're leveling up, that some people just aren't ready, right? So you can't spend an unimaginable amount of energy trying to make somebody be ready that just isn't ready. You hand it to them.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I feel like we should stay right there.
Okay.
Because how do you identify if someone's ready or not, right? We have a heart to give. When you're a giver, this is just what you do. There's a level of reciprocity that you have to have the confidence to demand a reciprocal when you're giving something, right? So let's talk about how you know when somebody's ready or not. Because I now only work with those who are ready. And there are sounds and flags and indications everywhere that I can see in a millisecond, talking to someone in 30 seconds, 10 seconds to identify if they're ready or if they're not ready. Now, this is not me making a judgment like you could enter the gates if you need to. Like, I don't know why that came to me, but this is not that, right? This
Right.
is there a level of readiness, and will this person take the energy and the time that I'm investing in them to show them how to leverage and multiply money, right? Starting from anywhere. Are they ready to receive it and take action? Now, I cannot tell you how many people that I have worked with that I have poured in billion-dollar ideas, billion-dollar strategies and effectiveness, and it is still sitting somewhere on the counter because of the lack of readiness. So, ladies and
Right.
gentlemen, you can continue, Aneri, but I would like to ask you the question of what your identifiers of readiness are, and just implore the audience to understand, listen, and feel. You can hear if someone is ready for what you're going to deliver, and vice versa. Ask yourself, are you ready? Who am I, and where am I going, and why do I need this? And ask yourself those questions daily, because it could change from today to tomorrow to this afternoon. And if you are confident in that, then your readiness will exude the right amount of energy. Are you truly ready for right now? Not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, not when the 6 and 7 and 8 figure check comes. Are you ready to receive it right now? That knowing and that readiness to receive it right now is a key factor. So,
It
Aneri,
is.
what are your signs of readiness when you listen to other people to know if they're ready to receive what you're going to give?
Really quick in that, like you said, it only takes like 30 seconds. So when that person would come and I learned that I was enabling people, and they would come and they'd ask for the money, and I'd say, well, I can give you something better. I can help you get out of this situation. And they say, okay, that's good, but that was my indicator right there. Okay, that's good, but it's like, but I just want you to give me the money right now so I can go home and do, that one. And then when you give somebody an idea and you tell them, oh, you got something great in you, and this is what you could be doing and how you could be doing it, and they say, well, that's the other one. The buts and the wells and the maybes are the key words right off the bat. Their initial response tells you. Now, when they're like, oh, really? Okay, tell me about it. Or, all right, let's do it. Or, okay, my mind's not quite, a lot of times they'll be honest with you. I'm not quite ready, right? Because my mind is stuck in this emergency. But if I can get past this, I'll be ready. I have to be honest. If a person has come to me for financial assistance and that's what they say to me, I just need to get my mind past this moment. I understand that when you're in that emergency, in that moment. Now, that person, I would pay that light bill, because what they're going to do is once they get it paid, they're going to sit down and say, okay, I'm tired of being sick and tired, and I don't want to be here again next month. Help me figure this out, right? So that's your clear indications is when it's, well, okay, but maybes, well, if I could, those are indicators that they're not ready, because all those leaves holes for them saying it's based on everything else around me and not me. Maybe means, either it's a yes or no. There is no maybe, right? Because maybe leaves room for failure. Maybe leaves room for falling through the cracks. If is one of those things where it's like it's based on everything else around me. So I did it when my kids were younger, and we're gonna have to do a part because we're about out of time. But when my kids were younger, it was, if my babies be quiet, I can get my work done, right? It's like, if I make my schedule correctly, then my babies can be quiet when I need to get my work done. So we have to be careful about individuals. So I really appreciate you being here today. Oh my God, we need like a whole nother hour, right? So we're gonna have to do a part 2 with this. I'll get with you on your schedule and see when we can work that in. Hopefully maybe next Tuesday we can continue the conversation, because I have some more messages coming in on my inbox. So obviously this money mindset is something people really need to hear about, and they have a lot of questions about. So if not, I promise everyone we will get Miss Danya back on. If not, next Tuesday at her earliest convenience, and we'll continue the conversation. Any last words for everyone until next time?
You know what? Thank you so much for having me and for your professionalism, your expertise. and your energy. Ladies and gentlemen, you have everything you need, you have right now. Ask yourself the questions, take action this moment, and just see how changing one thing today will open up energy for the flow of money and your new foundation. I'm Danya Gale. Thank you for having me, Mary.
Oh, thank you so much. You have been on another episode of the Hour of Impact. I am Aneri Bellamy, your impact leader, and it's just a place where we're not afraid to go against the grain and give you what it is that you really need to hear to truly impact your life. Every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Until next week, I'm Aneri Bellamy. Have a great week.
OMG, Boy, Aneri, I don't know. Sometimes, see, when you get me speechless, people know something, when you get me speechless, you got me. You got me, you got me, you got me. Woman, really? You are just awesome. You are just so awesome. You bring such wonderful guests. And they just bring, this is Impact Hour. That's all I got to say. That's all I have to say. See, I'm telling you, see, she's bringing the goods. But when she brings the goods, you got to be here to hear the goods. So I am putting out there, yes, I am putting out an ask and ask everybody, come on Tuesday morning. Come, you will receive so much wisdom and the golden nuggets, not just from Aneri, but from the people that she brings on. I mean, I loved how, and I was thinking about when they were talking about, helping people. And, you can help people to a point where, okay, yeah, help a little bit and they get back on their, feet again and then they're good to go when they move forward. Then you can be like, being that what they said, disabled or I forgot, now I'm not saying the word right, but you can be the person that just they're gonna keep coming to you because they know that you're gonna help them out and it's gonna be forever, ever that cycle. And that doesn't help a person at all. That doesn't help a person at all. In fact, it makes them even worse because now they're, relying on you to get to the next point. So you want an enabler. You don't want to be an enabler. That's where I knew the word would come out of my head. You don't want to be an enabler to people. So I have, I always come on in the morning. I know before anybody comes on, and I know I didn't do it, but I'm going to do it before I leave here. I got to give you something, right? I'm not going to sit there and just leave you hanging. So I was thinking about this. They were talking about, just taking charge, taking, accountability and everything. So I found a insert here that I'd love to read to you. Take command of your life. This is what it's about. Feel what needs to be done in your life, and more importantly, and it's in big bold caps, do it. At times, life will lead you to a crossroads where you will have to make a choice. It will be a perfect crossroad with two paths. One path always leads you to the light, while the other, although not necessarily bad, is filled with turmoil. You may not have time to think. You must make a decision. Make a decision to do this practice daily by doing what needs to be done in your life now. Do not put things off till tomorrow do not put things off till tomorrow, for if you do, tomorrow will never come. Take command of your life so when life leads you to crossroads, your choice will be clear. Enjoy your day. So you got to take action. You're going to have those days where you got to either take this road or that road. And sometimes you can't sit back and say, okay, give me a minute, give me a few hours, or give me a day to think about it. Sometimes you have to make those quick decisions. So I always tell people, when you have to make those quick decisions, always ask yourself real quickly, is this going to move me forward? Is this going to teach me something? Is this going to help me help others? If you're kind of in a disarray and confused and everything, then yeah, you do need to stop and say, you know what? No, I can't do that right now. I can't do that right now. Maybe, next time, but not right now. Now, you can't worry. See, the thing is, a lot of people be like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. They're going to get upset. And I know they were relying on me and all this kind of stuff. But you have to look at yourself. If you're not 100% intuitive with what's going on, a decision that you're making, you're not helping that other person. In fact, you're hurting them and you're hurting yourself. So when you make those decisions, look at, real quickly and say, okay, is this going to uplift me? Is it going to help somebody else while I'm doing this? Is it going to take time out of what I need to be doing? Because I got a lot of other stuff on my plate. So you got to make those decisions. But, whatever you do, you just got to make a decision, do it, feel comfortable with it, and move forward. And with that, we will see you tomorrow with guess who? Mr. Barry's coming on with the Gem Hunter Stories. Be here, same time, same station, 8 o'clock. And remember, your PPD, your purpose, your passion, your drive, that's your foundation. That's your foundation. I always call that, because when you know yourself, when you really, really know yourself, then you can move forward in anything that goes on around your world, because you know who you are. You know what you're supposed to be doing. So I will see you tomorrow. Remember, shine like a diamond. Bye.